Okay. I don't really know. I don't have like anything planned for this stream or anything like that. I'm kind of just rambling off the top of my head here. Thinking we could just do like a little question and answer. Luna Laximi says, hello, I miss the Schumann resonance on screen. I know, a lot of people do. Unfortunately, it takes a little bit of effort on my part to have that constantly going. For some reason, if you stream for more than 24 hours or so, like it automatically like kicks you out and that sort of thing, which really sucks. I've kind of been working on that. I do plan on getting the live stream up again pretty soon. I can't promise a time. I would say the earliest would probably be by the end of May of this year, maybe June. But yeah, first thing I have to say is, if you don't like Alex Jones, you should probably leave now. Yeah, so if you have any questions, that sort of thing, just throw it in the chat, send a DM to Schumann Bot on Twitter, and I'll promptly respond. Allah El Sheikh, thanks for being a fan. I'm also a fan of you. I'm a fan of all of you. I love you guys. It's really great to see so many people take an interest in this project, which is something that I kind of just made in my free time. I was just kind of curious. I was actually looking for it sounds kind of silly to say it out loud, but like a physical source of human consciousness, and it led me down a lot of weird rabbit holes, and then I ended up stumbling upon the Schumann resonance, and I thought that was very interesting, and it's very interesting to see how the frequencies relate to our brain. So glad you're back in action. Thank you, Bucks. It is good to be back. I was actually going to take down Schumann Bot, as some of you might have seen, and kind of cancel the project because it is a lot of work to manage sometimes. There's a lot of problems with the bot and the Twitter API and that sort of thing. Then I saw a lot of clones popping up, like Schumann Live and Shoemates, which are great projects. They're amazing, but I felt like this is my baby and this is something I should hold on to. I found some Morse code in the Schumann resonance. That's okay. I mean, I would like to hear more about that. I don't understand how people are seeing all of these things in the graph and in the images, because the map is not the territory. I don't even know my own website. I mean, if you look at the chart, you might see things in it. You might see a lot of weird things in it, like these vertical lines and just small little things in the background popping up. I mean, that's not the actual Schumann resonance. We can't actually see it. It's just energy that exists all around us, and these are pretty much just the readings of it. It's like looking at a spectrogram for music. I mean, it's practically the same thing. Like here, just looking at this, it's not the sound waves, you know what I mean? Like, you can't look at it and hear the music. It's a depiction of what it sounds like, and there are like some sort of tricks and stuff that like hackers and those sort of people do to like put images into spectrums and make pictures with it and that sort of thing. But that's mostly just like an artist thing. If you go back and listen to it, it just sounds like white noise mostly. Truth Heart asks, Can solar flares affect the resonance? Personally, I don't know, but I think they do, and a lot of other people that are interested in this sort of topic and they're looking into it, they think it can as well. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Solar flares are electromagnetic bursts, and the Schumann resonance is an electromagnetic phenomenon. So I would assume it does have some effect on it, but how profound that effect is, or how it actually affects us as humans, I couldn't tell you honestly. Hello from Tokyo. Konbanwa. Konbanwa Kari. I did fail Japanese in college, so forgive me if my Japanese is a little bad. Can you briefly explain how to read the resonance charts? Of course. While I have the chart open is the perfect time. So basically the Schumann resonance is it's a set of frequencies. Here you can see the first, 5 fundamental nodes: 7.83 hertz, 14 hertz, 20 hertz, 27.3 hertz, 33.8 hertz, and so on. Basically, these are the places in the Schumann resonance that peak. Great. Cool. So if you look at a chart like this is kind of the linear depiction of a Schumann resonance graph. You have these peaks at 7.83, 14, 21, 26, and so on. These are kind of the fundamental peaks of frequency or electromagnetic energy that gets detected. And when you look at it here on the graph, instead of linear from left to right, you're going to see those peaks from top to bottom. Let me pull up a newer chart. So when we look at the Schumann graph like this, let me just make it bigger for you guys. We can see here, you have your frequency over here. 7.83 is kind of like the fundamental node. It's like the lowest frequency of the Schumann resonance, and you can see how here we have a very deep green. Let me get into how the color is affected, because I feel like I'm explaining this in a very poor way. So basically, there's an amplitude, which is, just think of it as the amount of energy that it's being shown. Blue down here is the lowest, or almost no energy at all. Black would be no energy at all, but it's just for the point of explaining, this is very low energy. The white is very high energy, so it's like turning up the volume on your stereo set or something like that. And I'm kind of losing my place here. And so when you see these green peaks here, let's just get both of these charts open. When you see these green peaks here, you can see that the amplitude is around 30 or so, which means it's, I would call that just average, the average amount of energy. The white peaks here means there's an incredibly high energy on these frequencies, and then if you just read it from left to right, from across, 8 hertz here you can see is super hot. It's a super hot signal. Same for this, all the way up to about 16 hertz or so. And I hope I'm doing a decent job explaining this, because it's not a complicated thing, but I feel like it's a complicated thing to explain. And I'll go into more detail during this stream. Bucks PA Bernice asks, why does the graph have black areas at times? Are there different reasons or just online at the time? So, a lot of people have been calling the black areas in the graph timeline shifts or skips, jumps, that sort of thing. I'm not signed into Twitter, so I guess that's okay. I mean, it's technically right, but it's not a shift in our fit. Also, thank you to everyone that donated to buying me cigs. It was about 3 people or so. I really appreciate it. I needed nicotine and I was a bit low on cash at the time. Anyway, let's see. Of course, I can't find one. But basically, when the graph is black, sometimes, like what Bucks was talking about, was sometimes in the graph there'll be, like, say, during between 0 and 4 o'clock here, there'll just be a black blank space in the graph. That just means there's no data read for that period, simply. Like, I don't really know how or why it happens. Sometimes the system goes down, I guess, and we lose the signal. What does the actual device look like that reads the Schumann? Let's see if I can find that, because it's a very old piece of technology. And by the way, all of this information is coming from the Space Observation System, the Space Observation System in Tomsk, Russia. Let me do this in Chrome so I can translate it. I just pretty much take that information and put it on Twitter. I really did it because there was no archival system. There still is no archival system. I have the only archival system for this, and I was really interested in looking at how things change over time. See, if you go to the Schumann resonance page here, it's always just one image, and it'll constantly update as you refresh. It'll go through the time, but they don't save the images at all, so there's no historical look at it. I'm going to hunt really quick for this machine because I find it very interesting. Oh jeez. While that downloads, I'll answer a few more questions. Hello from Germany. Hello. I don't know any German at all, so I can't really say hello in your language. I'm sorry. Paul T.U. says seeing images in the Schumann is a form of divination, like any other example, reading tea leaves, tarot cards, etc. It's a means of tapping into intuition / higher selves, etc. I won't say no. I'll think about that. Yeah. Marnie Hunter, my heart reacts to the spikes, palpitations. I've actually felt some physical effects from the spikes. I'm actually a little more interested in how that happens and how that works. I've actually, a lot of times I've woken up in the middle of the night and then I check the Schumann resonance and then I see a huge spike and I'm like, whoa. There was actually a couple of years ago a time where there was a spike in the Schumann resonance. I just felt like this weird energy coming over me, kind of just like from my head to toe and like taking over my body. It was really weird. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and my girlfriend next to me actually had a seizure. It was pretty intense. This is Arabella. Hi from El Paso, Texas. I'm an energy reader, so watch the chart often and feel it daily. Truth Heart. Intuition says this is what animals tune into before earthquakes or other natural disasters. That is actually a very good point, and I think you could be absolutely on point with that because I assume animals are. I've never consciously been an animal besides a talking monkey, so I wouldn't really know, but I assume that animals are very in tune to that sort of thing. Yeah, let's see if we can see this thing. Alright, yeah, so this is basically the actual computer that they have set up in Russia. I believe they built it. I went through one day and I translated all these slides before, and I'm pretty sure they built this thing in the 80s, and it's still what they're using to read the resonance. The interesting thing is the Schumann resonance. The first monitoring station was actually in Rhode Island, which is a state that I'm incredibly close to. So, unfortunately, due to COVID, I was going to make it out there this summer to see the first station there and kind of show them Schumann bot and get more information, probably, and get like an opinion from the scientists, as useful or useless as that may be, but that's still something I'm very interested in. The white means we are in the fifth dimension. Well, we exist in all dimensions all of the time, so I guess you're right. I put silver under my pillow. It makes my ears ring even more, like amplifying it. I have some silver. I might try it. Sure. Lux again. I have awakened multiple times and then look at the look. Ugh, I can't read right now. I'm sorry. I've awakened multiple times and then look. The chart is off the charts, and our Bernice also feels it. Oh, your dog. Hello, Bernice. Must be that beautiful dog in your abbey. And our Bernice also feels it. She is up and down in various rooms when it happens. That's very interesting. Is this? Yeah, so this is what the station actually looks like out in Russia. They kind of have this huge pole protruding from the earth, and that picks up movements in the ionosphere and do some fancy programming and stuff, and it turns it into the chart. Very old equipment, though. From I remember translating these slides and reading through it. It's built in the 80s, as I understand. Shungite seems to be working for me. No problem, Marnie. taking a bit for this PowerPoint to download. But, I have been trying to look through a lot of this stuff, data, the web server here, and figure out how exactly they're turning the resonance into graphs, so I can kind of just take this information myself and maybe make my own graphs or get raw data so we can look at actual numbers and that sort of thing. But that's it's a bit of a project because it's written in Fortran, which is a very old programming language and something I'm not very familiar with. That's not it. Marnie Hunter would like to know how you got into this. Yeah, so I was saying before that I actually was, it sounds kind of silly, but I was looking for the source of human consciousness in like a physical form, like to maybe find a way to tap into it, to read it, to see if what's going on there. But I went down a few rabbit holes, and then I kind of stumbled upon the Schumann resonance, and then I saw how it relates to our brain waves and that sort of thing. And then how I started Schumann bot is there is no, as I was saying before, there's no archival system, so I couldn't really look at past data or anything like that because no one was saving it. So I decided Twitter might be a perfect forum to do that, and I've kind of just made the bot to monitor it myself, and then an influx of people came and they were interested in the subject, and yeah, it's been growing ever since. Hello Sue, how are you? So if you go to my website here at hermeticus.net, you click on projects, under Schumann resonance you click on archive. I have data going back to 2018, and that's about the first graph that was ever saved. I have some stuff before 2017, but it's not as frequent, not as reliable as the stuff from 2018. So I would say it starts in about 2018. It is very sunny today. It's wonderful. I love it. It's great weather. Would you please explain the significance of the resonance on 4/18/19 on the t-shirt? That was kind of just an arbitrary choice. That was about a year after Schumann bot started, and it was like the first real big spike. And it's also the spike that's in the Schumann bot Twitter Abbey. There's really no significance of that date or of that graph, but yeah, I have to figure out how to make it work, but I plan on having shirts where you can choose your own chart, maybe like your birthday or just a significant day to you or a significant chart, and then have that chart put onto the shirt. But I still have to figure that out. My goal with the shirts isn't really to get rich or make a business out of it. Like I'm into graphic design a little bit. It's just kind of like an artistic expression, and I also just want to help people share the subject with their loved ones, their friends, their family. There's that last PowerPoint. Yeah, so this is kind of just going over the team and stuff, and kind of the history of their observation station in Russia at that university. And I don't see a date here. If anyone can read Russian really quick and kind of tell me what's going on here, because it's been a while since I've translated this, then that'd be really nice. But I believe this is a gentleman here that developed the system and got the program started out in Russia. We've been doing it in the United States a lot longer than they have, and I'm sure we have better information. It's just that accessing it isn't as easy as going to this website and clicking on Schumann resonance. Carrie says, I would like to buy the t-shirt. Thank you. We will be selling them again soon. It's just that I produce them pretty much at the same cost. I sell them pretty much at the same price that it costs to produce them, so I don't really turn a profit, and any profit that I do make I put back into the system. And yeah, blah blah blah, financial talk. But they'll be available again soon. Kimberly Martin, I got mine. Awesome. Send us a pic on Twitter if you want, and we'll share that with our fans and share that on Facebook as well, if with your permission, of course. Has it amped up a lot since 2018? You know, I've never really gone back and had an analytical look at the data like that. I've just kind of been trying to keep the bot going and take care of the archive and that sort of thing. So I haven't really had a look, but it'd be nice if someone took a look and tried to spot patterns and that sort of thing. People have been saying that the Schumann resonance has been increasing, which is kind of, it's not really the right wording. It hasn't really been increasing, but there has been more frequent spikes and higher spikes of higher frequencies over time since about 2012 or so, or something like that. Tink asks, have you figured out if there actually has been an increase of incidence of the resonance going up into the way? Oh, I kind of just answered that. Yeah. Can we send tips? Yes, of course, but it's not really set up right now. If you remember on the, if you've seen the live stream of the Schumann resonance graph, you can send in a tip and then your name will come up on the stream and that sort of thing. But yep, in the description, if you go under support the stream, click on streamlabs.com/AASB media, you can send us a tip if you'd like. And the link is broken, which is not good, so I'll send that in the chat. (11/11/2018). Sure, let's pull that up. No, I can't. I only have December. J Perez JBJ, if you send me a DM on Twitter, I'll look through my. Actually, no, because I started the bot November 17th, so I actually don't have that data, unfortunately. It reminds me of an electrocardiogram, or the machine that measures contractions during labor. Yes, it's very much like that. It's actually closer to what's known as an electroencephalograph. I hope I'm saying that right, or an ECG, people say, and that's no, it's whatever they use to read the brain. And they don't. Okay, here we go. They don't really have a good picture of it, but if you actually yeah, so if you look into an EEG, that's what I meant, an electroencephalograph. If you look into that sort of thing, it's a reading of the human brain waves. They actually do closely relate to the Schumann resonance and the delta waves of our brain, which is between 0.5 hertz to 4 hertz, which is what you're looking at or about here on the Schumann graph, is when we're in deep sleep. Theta 4 hertz to 8 hertz, which is around this range here, or the first fundamental frequency, which is 7.83 hertz, or about 8 hertz on the Schumann resonance. And then alpha is relaxed but alert, and that's between 8 hertz to 14 hertz, which is 14 hertz is the next peak in the Schumann resonance graph. And then the beta, which is highly alert and focused, is 14 hertz and 30 hertz. And I don't know the actual. I think there's another state called gamma, which is pretty much 30 hertz and above, and that's like the peak output of the brain, I guess you could say, and that's towards the bottom of the graph here. So I kind of think so. Energy moves from highest to lowest, let's say, so a place of high energy to positions of low energy, and the best way to kind of demonstrate that is what's called the synchronization of metronomes. And basically what I think happens is, so like so all of us, I guess you could say, are kind of like these metronomes. We're all alternating at different frequencies, and then kind of what happens is the Schumann resonance will peak or spike, and then that energy will disseminate from the Schumann resonance to us as humans. And if you watch this, I'm just going to skip through it to demonstrate the point. But if you watch it, it's on a freestanding surface, and as the metronomes tick all at different frequencies and at different rates, they start to synchronize. And that just happens naturally, and that's kind of just how energy flows from highest to lowest. Oh, that's kind of annoying. What is Schumann resonance? So basically it's a set of, it's electromagnetic energy that kind of exists all around the Earth. The best way to, I'm trying to explain it without scientific terms and like explain it simply. It's basically, I guess, energetic soup, or like a shell that's kind of around us. Let's see if I can pull up a visualization here. Yeah, so basically you have in the ionosphere, which is just outside of the Earth's, the body of the Earth are these like waves that kind of bounce back and forth and around the Earth and through the Earth, and They say it's caused by lightning and lightning discharges, and I guess that energy kind of bounces back into the ionosphere. Vibration of the earth, basically, yes, yes. Are we seeing a change due to 5G and possible 6G? There's not. There probably is evidence, but I don't know if the evidence is publicly available, and I don't know if they'll ever release that information. I think there is, because kind of the way that 5G and those radio waves work is they actually bounce off of the ionosphere, and they bounce off of the first. The ionosphere isn't the first layer. It's kind of it's not the atmosphere or the mesosphere either. I can pull up a chart, but basically they bounce off of the electromagnetic. I have to pull up a chart. Yeah, so basically the radio waves do bounce off of the so yeah, I was right. So they bounce off the ionosphere, but they can also pass through the atmosphere and outside of the ionosphere. So I assume that anything, kind of like I demonstrated with the synchronization of the metronomes, everything influences everything. There's kind of a butterfly effect, and I assume, yes, 5G, even simple FM, AM radios do have an effect on the Schumann resonance. After studying this, have you come to any conclusions about the source of consciousness or anything else that you would care to share? I'm pretty sober right now. Well, let me just say that. That's not a good answer, but that is my answer for now. I have kind of explored consciousness and the nature of consciousness a little bit more, but it's an incredibly complex topic, and basically the conclusion that I've come to right now, and it's bound to change in the future, is that consciousness is essentially information. How does solar flare activity affect the Schumann resonance? So I kind of went into that a little earlier. I didn't have a definitive answer because, in all honesty, I don't really know. Something I have to research a little more, but I assume that electromagnetic waves it's basically a solar flare. It's just a burst of electromagnetic energy from the sun. I assume that just in some way has some effect on the Schumann resonance just by interacting with it. Yeah, Crystal, Schumann Sunday, let's go. Everything is vibration, and Schumann resonance is the measured vibration of the earth. The earth gets hit from lightning and bounces to developer waves. These waves are vibration. Yes. Everything. It's hard to talk about everything when we say everything, but I would say primarily, and that kind of, as I was saying before, is everything is not necessarily vibration, but information. And vibration is just one of the forms of information that we can detect and put into words. But I would say that, yeah. I would say everything vibrates, but not everything is vibration. All right, so yeah, I hope this was informative. I hope you guys had fun. I had fun. I think we're going to start to wrap things up here. So if anyone has any more questions, kind of just enter them in the chat, DM Schumannbot on Twitter, and I will answer them. Kim! Hey! Thank you, thank you. I appreciate you as well. I appreciate all of you. You guys are great. No problem, James. Take care. Keep up the learning. You are setting the stage for knowledge. Thank you for the knowledge you shared with us today. Thank you, Luna. I will keep up the work. Thank you for joining me. It means a lot. All right. Well, that's it for now. Take care, everyone. Have a great Sunday.